All right. Hello, everyone on YouTube. We were just having some technical issues on the private Zoom room, so there was a suggestion that hop over to YouTube and share some of this information there. We're just literally in the middle of a Q&A. So far, we've talked about the quantum world. We've talked about entanglement. We've talked about Bigfoot. What else did we talk about so far? We talked about regret. That was a great question, actually. Being a starseed, having regret. How do we navigate feeling like we fucked up in coming here? Oops, didn't actually want to come to planet Earth, and now I'm stuck here. We just covered that. And yeah, and then blood types and interdimensional connections. If you want to know about those topics, then all of that is going to be on the members only. Just sign up to be an awakener and you can have access to that. That will be posted to the membership site in a couple hours from now. So definitely check that out. But we've got more questions to come. I'm not taking any live questions on YouTube, just FYI. I'm only reading questions from the membership forum, which if you're a free member, you also have access to and can ask the questions as well. Okay, this is a good question. All right, this is from Purple Stars. Why should we try to accomplish anything? Love this question, and you kind of go into the explanation here. Okay, I'm just going to read the question in its entirety. Hi, EA. Since our life plans are set in stone and our higher self can block any manifestation we do, I don't see anymore why we should be motivated to do anything. The magnitude of my excess and hardships was always unavoidable. Many important wishes about what life I've wanted has been blocked to the point that I will never volunteer to help a planet again. Oh my God, I know where you're at. Earlier, my guide apologized to me for having made a mistake and told me to ask you this question. Please ask my guide to explain the situation, as I think blocking our choices is something that afflicts everyone. Okay, I totally got into this same rut many years ago when I was deep diving into destiny versus free will. I got to this place where I was so frustrated with destiny. I was so frustrated with fate. I was so frustrated with we don't have any choice. Everything's predetermined. So screw my own free will. And I got into this rut of like complete apathy of why bother? Why bother doing anything? If everything's predestined, um, why even put the effort forth? And a lot of people get stuck in that rut. All right. It's a great question. And it took me quite a while and a lot of unpacking and a lot of my own kind of deep diving and experiencing and fighting with myself to come to a conclusion of like life is worth really living and really being present for. Oh, okay. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm just going to close my eyes, tune into the energy, and I want to get something very clear for all of you. Any of you who feel apathetic, any of you who feel unmotivated, any of you who have experienced this energy of like, why bother? What's the point? Destiny's going to take care of it. Our contracts are set in stone. I feel you. Let me just see if I can help you along in this a little bit here. So 1 second. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm going to try and explain this because it comes to me as a visual. Um, okay. So the example that came through here is a job. Say, for example, you are, I don't know, in a different position or a different career altogether. And you're like, I want to get into this career, this completely different thing. And by thinking about the thing that you want to get into, you have hopes, you have dreams, you have goals, you have expectations. And through manifesting, through law of attraction, you can choose what sort of goals, what sort of experiences, what sort of contracts you want to have in that job, in that position. Now, I want you to relate that exact example to our soul choosing its contracts before we incarnate into this lifetime, or really any lifetime that we have anywhere in the entire universe. The information that just came through is our contracts, our destiny, what we are supposed to experience on this planet is like, here we go. They're called milestones, all right? At a certain point in your life, you're going to enter into this timeline, you're going to meet this person, you're going to have this contract for this reason. Okay. 2 years later, you're going to have this experience at this time for this reason in this way. But what happens between this contracted experience and this happens? What happens in between those two contracts? Life. Life happens. The thing is, destiny has to simultaneously exist with free will. It's like they're synonymous. One cannot exist without the other. If it was all contracts, if it was all predestined, then we would be missing a huge part of existence, which is the journey. Because every contract that we walk through is the goal. It's the destination of that moment in time. Of course, it's not the end destination. It is just the destination. It's a destination. And we have many contracts. We have many things that we need to walk through. But in between the things that we have to experience in this lifetime is the journey. And if you choose right now that it is not worth the free will, is not worth the time and energy to go through the journey, then what happens, and this is what I experienced when I went through this apathetic phase of like, why bother? Why even try if everything's just predestined? I completely disassociated myself from the present moment to the point where I wasn't really here. I was only present in the moments that I needed to be present that were predestined, that were planned out, that were contracted. Everything else I checked out on. Why? Because I didn't need to be present. Because I didn't want to use my free will. Because I was just allowing my own contracts, my own destiny to take hold. I was kind of a robot walking through life. Do you want to be present for your entire life? Do you want to be consciously co-creating your reality? Or do you want to completely surrender to the contracts that lay before you? Which every single moment, this little bug, okay, flying by me, that's not contracted. That's called the spontaneity of life, the chaos of existence. And so what came up when I kind of just tuned into the energy, just going back to the, you have these expected results when you enter into a new career. From your vantage point, before you actually step into that new career, before you actually step into this new lifetime or this new incarnation, everything else is a mystery. You can plan as much as possible for the new career. You can plan as much as you want for the new life or for being a parent for the first time. But you never actually know what it's like until you're in it. And that's the whole point about destiny versus free will. It's not just about destiny. It's not just about fate. It's not just about your blueprints or your contracts. It's about your willingness to be present as the being that you chose to be so that you can change your contracts, so that you can change your destiny as you're living through it. Because I'll tell you right now that you can change your timelines. Would you want to? I wouldn't recommend it. I've tried to many, many times. I have many, many times. only to my detriment, only to kick myself later on, being like, why would I do that? You're fighting yourself essentially. But not every single moment in your entire lineup of events is destiny. Only 50% of it is. The other 50% is free will. So utilize it, be present with it, be present with yourself and your reality. That's what I would recommend. You're feeling apathetic, why bother? There's many reasons to bother. There's many reasons to care. There's actually an infinite amount of reasons to care, because there's an infinite amount of possibilities and timelines that you get to choose to step into. All right, hopefully that helps some of you and was a good timing for that question. All right, let's go back to the forum, see what other questions we have here. Okay. Okay, from Joanna, boundaries and psychic abilities. I like this one. What is the difference between psychic abilities that are developing and lack of boundaries? There are times I believe I'm feeling other people's emotions. Other times I question whether what I'm feeling is my own stuff that I am projecting upon a person. Okay. How can I tell that something I am perceiving is a psychic ability versus my own bias? Oh my goodness, talk about a complex question. There's a part in here that I just want to mention, that I just want to talk about briefly. Let's just see. Okay, so let's just talk about the projection around other people and feeling their emotions. And this might not be the popular belief, so take it or leave it. I'm just mentioning something that comes up to my mind. When we, let's call it entangle, okay, just like the Quantum Human Workshop, when we entangle ourselves with someone else's energy, therefore we are feeling their energy, there is no difference between you and them. That is yours. So even the word like projection, am I just projecting my own stuff on this person? By being a sovereign soul, we have to take responsibility for everything that we're experiencing and feeling as our own. If you come into contact with someone, even a random complete stranger, and they end up bumping into you on the street and it hurts and you feel a little bit violated, or you feel like they didn't even apologize or whatever, okay? Yes, that was an interaction between the two of you. And yes, that might feel like in the moment, like you're the victim in that situation or that case. And you may feel like, oh, maybe I'm projecting the victim mentality on that. No, that's yours as well. Whatever that is, that's yours. If you feel triggered by someone else's actions or reactions, even though that's very easy to say, well, that was someone else and I'm just reacting to their energy, that's still you. So I would say don't get caught up in the complexities of, am I projecting? Is this mine? Are these my psychic abilities? It's all you. It's all you. In the quantum field, in this quantum beautiful metaverse that we live in, all right, it's all you. Everything that you interact with is you. And that's the simplest way to explain a very complex matter, all right? What else did I want to mention about the psychic abilities? Okay. The other thing that I want to mention about psychic abilities and I guess boundaries is it's tough because when we define psychic abilities, it's like, oh, I'm clairvoyant in this moment, or I'm precognitive in this moment. And all of the labels, like I didn't even know what any of these labels meant up until probably 3 years ago. And we should really get away from these labels, because the more that we identify with a label of I am this, or I am that, or you are that, and I am this, the more we limit ourselves to what actually do psychic abilities mean. And truly, almost every experience that we have Every physical interaction that we move through incorporates some sort of vibrational exchange, which means that you're psychic always, all right? It's not just in the weird moments, it's not just in the glitches, it's not just in the over empathic moments, it's in all of the moments. Your psychic abilities run through every aspect of your entire life. The more you try and focus on it or quantify it, the more you compartmentalize it from your own existence. And it just doesn't work that way. They are one and the same. Your existence, your connection to this world around you is energetic. It is. So stop trying to say, well, this is psychic and this is reality. There's no difference in that way. And then the more that we can fully embody that truth, the more psychic we truly become, because everything is a psychic experience. What I would say about your psychic abilities, especially these days, everyone's opening up, everyone's expanding, everyone's stepping into their freaking power, which is so freaking badass. What I would say is if it gets overwhelming for you, which it gets overwhelming for all of us, then ground yourself. Take a walk in the woods, walk barefoot on the ground, utilize your five human senses to be in the present moment, watch an anthill for 30 minutes, be here. Because the more we raise our vibration and we expand to these higher planes of existence or these higher levels of being and interacting, the more overwhelming it becomes to say, feed yourself or pay the bills. This is where a lot of starseeds get stuck. Too high vibrational, getting more and more difficult to be here. Make sure, as everything in this reality, that you're existing in a constant state of balance. All right? If you're having a very, very high vibrational week, make sure that maybe the next week is not low vibrational, just physical. And, this is something that I mentioned that resonated with a lot of you. I mentioned this maybe a couple months ago. Actually, I think it was the Galactic Federation in one of the summits that mentioned this. The third dimension is not negative. I have to be very, very clear about this. The third dimension is not a low, I can't say it's not a low vibrational frequency because it is, but not in the way that we perceive low vibration. The third dimension is physical. That's all it is. It's a denser frequency. It is more physical. It's okay to hop back into the 3D. It's okay to just be freaking human, right? Because if we're always up here, we're never actually anchoring in all that is up here, all possibilities and timelines and manifestations into the physical. If we refuse, because it's tough, to be here in this moment, in this body, then you're going to be suffering in this body perpetually. You're going to be suffering in life in a physical way. Sure, your spiritual abilities are through the roof and you're talking to ETs, that's great. But how's your home life? How's your family dynamics? How's your bank account? Right? How's your health? If that's suffering, you got to get back in your body, right? It's about a balance. It's always about a balance. Okay, hopefully that helps. All right. Okay. Just reading through some questions here. Okay. Okay, this is a good question. This is from Rachel. Ancient history, confusion, and timeline convergences. I love this. So mainstream education likes to keep the same story of how things happened in the past, even when confronted with conflicting evidence. Ugh, so true. And so much of my issues with education come down to this and many other things, but we won't even touch upon them. When turning to the spiritual community, however, we get also multiple versions of how the same event transpired, such as who built the pyramids and other ancient incidences and civilizations and the crucifixion of Jesus and all of that stuff. So, could all of it be true? And these are just examples of different timelines. Had these timelines converged, could this be why different channelers or past life regressionists receive inconsistent information for the same events? Okay, this is an awesome question, and I don't think I've ever been asked this before. And this is just going to be my perspective on it, in also kind of viewing ancient history timelines and definitely being taught something completely different in history in education in school. I think there's a couple of things going on here. I think one part of it is um, like the education system in general, especially in North America, because I can't talk too much about the rest of the world, but the education is one of the number one levels and ways that we are indoctrinated and what's the other word? Brainwashed, manipulated, dulled down. Okay. It's a brainwashing mechanism, right? So there are many reasons why we are taught all of the wrong things in history and in our traditional education. Okay, that's like a whole other thing in and of itself. When we think about timeline convergences and different channelers, I've never before thought that maybe they're all just different timelines. I think I've probably never thought about that because I don't do any external research. So I have no idea who else is saying the stuff that's coming through me. Or they're saying something completely the opposite. And I'm sure there's both. I'm sure there's tons of people who are saying maybe the same timelines or events that I've channeled. And I'm sure there's tons of people who have channeled completely different things, which is really fascinating. What I would say is, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think, like I said, there's agendas. I think there's individuals who maybe channel information that isn't fully aligned for other reasons. Not that they're doing it purposely, but maybe their discernment isn't on cue, or they're channeling it from not a pure source. Who knows, right? I can't speak to any one person in particular because I just don't know who's out there and what they're saying. Um, and then I do think that there's absolutely a possibility that individuals are channeling timelines that have happened because all possibilities exist simultaneously uh, in different states. And then my question would be, why would one timeline come up for a channeler who is channeling source energy, and then, like a pure channel, let's just say, and then another channeler who's also a pure channel channeling a completely different series of events or timelines or reasons behind it or what have you. And here's what I would say about why there would be a need for this. Once again, it's tough because it is a quantum world. There's an infinite number of timelines in the past, in the future, and in the present that are indeed all simultaneously existing. So the way that I look at it is, when we think about precognition, when we think about channeling the future events, and you can apply this to the past, which is what I'm going to do. This is where my logic comes from in my reasoning. When we think about precognition and channeling future events, all timelines exist, but there are more probable timelines and events that could occur moving forward based on what that person needs to hear or where they're at in this present moment in time, if that makes sense. To this same understanding, the reason why there would be alternate events and alternate channelings of different channelers from past events is because humanity needs to hear different alterations, different perspectives, different timelines in order to maybe get the fullest picture possible. That I'm just speculating here, okay, is why I would think that would be the case. Once again, I've never before been asked this question, which is why I love these Q&As. I've never before even thought about different channelers, pure channelers, channeling different series of events, and them actually all being true, all channeling true things, they're just different timelines. They're all pieces of the puzzle. They truly are. So yeah, so cool. I always learn something new every single Q&A. Great question, Rachel. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, let's maybe do one more question. Okay, great. This is a question from um, Elkie. Shapeshifting on camera. I have seen a lot more videos lately with reptilians and other beings shapeshifting on camera, and I hope to see more. What brings this on? The shapeshifting and showing themselves to us. Is there a way for us to see and recognize someone's true form more easily? Great question. Okay, I've also seen an uptick of videos, specifically of a Russian woman who is literally just presenting herself as a reptilian shapeshifter. And wow, like it's she has multiple videos of her, and I actually reposted one of the videos on my Instagram channel. I didn't know if it was real or not. I just kind of put it out there, hey, what do you guys think of this? So if you want to check that out, it's on my Instagram. But here's what I want to say about it. There's definitely a mass disclosure that's happening. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Not all reptilians are bad, just like not all Pleiadians are good. Even though there's probably like more of a percentage that are low vibrational or negative, and more of a percentage that are high vibrational and positive in each species. It's just like human beings. You know, we got the good batch and we got the not so good batch, and everyone's just learning their lesson, and we live in a polarity universe. And I think those individuals who are willing to reveal themselves to us in such an obvious way are doing incredible work towards cosmic disclosure. We need these people to be vulnerable. We need these people to be real and authentic and legitimate and show themselves to us. And like I said, I think people are questioning, they're asking for the answers, and these videos are coming up because we're getting curious, we're pushing the narrative, we're more open to seeing these things as well, and this is where part of the disclosure is coming from. So yeah, so that's kind of why I think that there are more of an uptick of these, you know, shapeshifter type videos on camera, which I think is really incredible. To the second point of your question, which is how do we see these individuals in person? It's a great question. I've heard of many stories of many people seeing many shapeshifters, mostly reptilian shapeshifters, in person, whether it be an eye change or like a full skin reveal, which is pretty wild because a lot of the shapeshifters have no idea that they're actually hybrids. They have no idea that they're actually capable of doing this. Some of them for sure know exactly what they're doing, and some don't. Some of them are just, they're like, why do I get so angry all the time? I don't know. Um, I guess there's not like, you know, drink the Kool-Aid and you'll see everyone shapeshift. It's not about that. Or like, where's that like old school movie where he puts on the glasses and he sees everyone, I think, as like skeletons or something. Anyway, or zombies or something. Um, it's really about having an open mind. It's, you know, I mean, you're here, you're watching this video in the first place because you do have an open mind, but it truly is just about questioning the narrative, about having an open mind. The first time I told my stepmom and dad about, you know, reptilians and the whole agenda and everything that I was channeling, you know, I don't think that they thought I was crazy. I think that they're like, oof, that's a lot of information. And then the next week they saw a shape-shifting news anchor, totally, you know, fangs, scales, full reptilian shapeshift during a newscast, and they rewound it because they had PVR, I think. You record live video. They rewound it, and they it didn't shapeshift again. You know, it's just like they caught it in that one moment. And what I truly understand about seeing someone's true form is it's a vibrational frequency. It's about tuning into the vibration of that individual. Like I said, not all shapeshifters are bad. I think there's been a lot of negative association with it, but it's about our own individual cosmic disclosure, which in my view, is pretty badass. So I'm going to leave the video there. There's a whole other half of this video where I go into incredible topics like Bigfoot and Starseed regret and all of that great stuff. And you can check that out on my membership platform. Sign up to be an awakener to check out those videos. I do 2 Q&As a month. I do a membership coaching call every single month. We choose a free 30-minute winner for a one-on-one session with me every single month. So many perks, so many great things. So yeah, check all of that out. Definitely check out the Quantum Human workshop. That was so incredible, so mind-blowing. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tomorrow I have a live video that's going to be pretty controversial. As always, take it or leave it, but I have to do this video. I have to do it. I don't want to do it, but I have to. I'm just going to leave it there, and hopefully I will see all of you on tomorrow's Monday live at 5:55 Eastern Standard Time, and have a beautiful rest of your Sunday, everyone. I'm sending you so much love and appreciation for your presence in my life and community, and I'm just so beyond grateful to be here with each and every one of you. Bye for now.